let's start. Good morning, students. Let's start with our next chapter, chapter 3, that is atoms and molecules. Children, as in the chapter 1 and 2, children, like first in the first chapter, if you remember, there were a lot of activities in that chapter, like how is a matter, like what actually are the states of matter, which how many states of matter are there. We have studied in a first chapter. In a second chapter, okay, chapter 2, we have seen that whatever matter we see around us, okay, whatever matter, like even in the advertisements on the packets, nicely it will be written pure ghee, pure honey, very beautifully it will be like nicely it will be. But the thing is, children, chemistry has taught us that not all the substances are pure, okay, like pure ghee, pure honey, like milk also pure and fresh cow milk. But children, the just only it's written, children. The thing is, we cannot say that whatever material we see around us or matter we see around us, it is really pure or impure. How can we identify, children? Like in our previous chapter we have seen that every matter, like for example, it's classified as pure and impure substances, and then in pure substances only the elements which are there in the periodic table can be called as pure ones. Periodic table में जो elements है, like metals, non-metals, gases, then we have metalloids. Only those can be called as pure substances. Other than that, pure cotton, pure silk, nothing, children. No, nothing. Not a single material on this planet can be called pure, children. Okay. So just only apart from this element in the periodic table. Okay, only if you observe the elements in the periodic table, those are classified as metals, non-metals, metalloids, and gases. Those are the pure ones, children. Other than that, all they come to the in the category of impure ones. Okay, they come in the category of impure ones, where the impure substances they have a lot of impurities. So how to separate it? So those separation techniques we had studied: centrifugation, chromatography, evaporation, crystallization. There were different techniques we had studied in that chapter. So chapter 1 and chapter 2, I am assuming that you have understood, and if you have not understood, just message me your doubts, children. No worries. Now in your chapter 3, children, okay, something different is there. You'll find something different in your chapter 3. I'm sharing my screen. Let's start. Okay, somebody has joined. Okay, I'm sharing my. Okay, fine. I'm sharing my screen, children. So this is your textbook. Now you should not feel that I've never seen my textbook. This is your textbook, chapter 3. So this is the chapter's name: atoms and molecules. So we chapter is very easier and simple. I'm assuming that you can see, children. You can see the picture. Yeah. So, children, yeah, in the beginning of the chapter, we have a simple activity. I'll be explaining it to you. So then we have the two laws. Today what we are going to see. Just let I'll just explain you. We will be studying about the how the matter was we in the previous chapter we know how the matter was discovered, like Pancha Tattva and all. So further, what there are the levels, children. Further, what actually is matter we are going to see. So let's see. We will be studying something about matter again in this chapter. Then two laws are there. And this person, we are going to study something about John Dalton, his theories, what he had given. Then further, we have everything about matter. Okay, in the further how to balance reactions, how to write a compound. Don't you think, children, like sometimes, like last year also, I don't know whether when I used to teach the reactions, so sometimes it is H2O, okay? Sometimes it is H2O, and in other way, like in H2O, hydrogen atoms are two, but when I write HCl, hydrogen atom is one. So such questions, like many people, students will be having in your mind, why here it is H2, why there is H? So some in H2SO, if you observe in in sulfuric acid, it is H2SO4. So you'll find it is so confusing. Chemistry is so confusing. It's not at all confusing, children. It is totally dependent on their valency. Okay, it depends upon, I'll just tell you about the valency. You will study everything, all your doubts will be cleared in this chapter. Don't worry, many a time many students will be worrying, अरे यहाँ पे तो H2O है and there it is HCl, why it is like that? Many students will be having, even I was, when I before I studied like this chemist, because I, even in school days, even you're going to feel so confused, we are going to find so confused, like everything very weird. Why weird? Because somewhere you're going to find CO2, carbon is one. Sometimes somewhere you're going to find it is carbon, it's going to be four. Why it's like that? So such confusion. Why sometimes oxygen will be 3, O3? Why sometimes it will be NH3? Sometimes it will be NO2. Why something like what it actually it is? O2. What are those actually? Everything will be cleared. I know last year I have taught you the reactions, but the thing is you were still confused because the doubts will be cleared in this chapter. Let's see, children. So we are going to start with the basic of the atoms and molecules. So children, I'm just going to go back because textbook, looking at the text, just it was a glance of your textbook, so that you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't feel that I never seen my textbook. So the chapter's name is, children, atoms and molecules. Okay, the chapter's name is atoms and molecules, and this is your chapter 3. So children, let's see, in the introduction of the chapter we are going to see, because you should be feel so proud to be a part of this country, children, because whatever discoveries have, okay, whatever whatever is discovered on this planet, some part or some discoveries, like for example now, somewhere I had read that foreigners, they are eating on that banana leaf, okay, banana leaf, or they are drying that leaf and they're preparing that dishes, and they are saying that we are conserving the planet and we are eating on that leaf, dishes made by that leaves. Children, don't you feel in marriages and all olden days, those leaves only were used? So yes or no? So maximum number of discoveries, if you observe, were already already it was discovered or invented in India. Okay, so the number zero, let's start with the number. There are lakhs and billions and trillions of numbers, but the beginning of the number, that is number zero, is discovered in India. Yes, the number zero is discovered in India. So we have to, we should feel proud that we are living in such a country where the base of all the where like people discuss, say that the scientists, they just show off that we have discovered this, we have discovered that, but the base of that discovery is our nation, our India. It's from our nation. Okay, so this person, Maharishi Kannada, okay, you should know about this person. He invented the atomic theory before 600 BC. I think this BC, and you will learn in your history, this is BC is before Christ. So children, he stated that, okay, the smallest indivisible form of matter is Parmanu. And also, okay, let's see, I'll just tell you something. Okay, now look at the picture. What is happening? A big onion is cut into fine pieces. Okay, in previous classes, what I my statement, whenever I used to class start, my first statement was, whatever we see around us, children, it is made up of matter. Even if you're sitting on the chair, it is made up of matter. Even if you're eating Maggie, it made up of matter. Even if you're drinking water, it is made up of, it is matter, 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 matter. Wherever you're breathing air, that is matter. So whatever we see around us, whatever is present around us, it is matter. So further, like matter, then some discoveries were made, and matter was classified into five states: solids, liquids, gases, and then plasma and BEC. So that was related to the first chapter. Further, then children, Maharishi Kannada, he said that yes, it is made up of matter. Yes, something like whatever we see is made up of matter. But the thing is, this matter can be cut into pieces. Yes, well, like anything can be cut into pieces. Even if I have like a big material, I can chop into fine pieces, go on chopping, go on chopping, go on chopping, go on chopping, but there will be some state where that tiny particle, if I convert into tiny particles, but there will be one state where the tiny particle cannot be cut. Yes, is that you can find out the dust particles and you can sit and cut them? No, dust particles are very fine, finer than dust particles, imagine. So now this big onion is chopped. Okay, this chopping cut, this it is cut into fine pieces, fine pieces, fine pieces. But still, children, there will be a state where that big matter, okay, if it is converted into tiny pieces, and the last tiny piece, even if you go on cutting, there will be one state where the tiny piece cannot be divided, cannot be cut. And what Maharishi Kannada said, that this tiny piece is atom. Okay, what this tiny piece is? Atom. So for example, just try to imagine I have a big watermelon. I'm cutting it, I'm chopping it into very fine pieces, and there will be a very tiny piece, very smallest piece, children. It cannot be hold into hand also, very tiny piece, very smallest, microscopic ones. Literally you have to use a microscope for that. So that microscopic piece is atom. So this chapter, in this chapter, there is about, we are going to learn about the discovery of the atom. Okay, so what is atom, children? Atom is the smallest indivisible part of the matter. Okay, so matter is everywhere around us, everywhere, whatever we see, like how air is around, whatever we see around us, it is made up of matter. But when we go on dividing the matter, go on cutting any of the particle, try to cut any of like dust particles, try, there will be one state where you cannot divide it, that is the microscopic state, children. So that particle is atom. So this was the discovery of tiniest particle, that is atom. So but he didn't say, because he is like Maharishi Kannada is his origin is in, he's an Indian, children. Okay, so we usually whatever we had discovered, the terms given to the discovery were Indian ones, Sanskrit ones. So okay, so whatever we because he was not familiar to the terms matter and other things. So he said that whatever we see around us, that is matter. Okay, so but according to him, he said that that is padarth. Okay, padarth is matter. Okay, padarth is matter, and when you cut that padarth, you will get, in Hindi we call it as padarth. Okay, it is a Sanskrit word actually. So when we cut that padarth, go on cutting it, we will get a tiny piece, that is the Parmanu. Parmanu was a movie also, I feel. Okay, Parmanu is nothing but it is the tiniest piece of that matter. Understood? Okay, so when there's a when is children, on your birthday, when you go on cutting cake, last on the cardboard you will find like very tiny cream and all, like tiny pieces of cake. Still you divide that, divide that, you will get a tiny state. So let's conclude. I'm going to conclude that Maharishi Kannada described matter as padarth. Okay, padarth is matter, and when you go on dividing padarth, you will get a final smallest indivisible particle, that is Parmanu. Okay, Parmanu is the tiniest particle according to him. So this was the discovery of the Maharishi Kannada. Then came Pakuda Katyama. Okay, Pakuda Katyama. Okay, the next person, he said that, okay, because immediately, like after Maharishi Kannada, like obviously, children, when we go on thinking, there is discovery. When we go on thinking, even your mother, when she thinks, why not we will add this, we will add that, and she prepares new dishes. Same way, children, new discovery every day happens in your house also. Same way, children, scientist also came by observing. He used to like man used to think about the nature or think about some other discoveries or inventions. Same way, after Maharishi Kannada, what Maharishi Kannada said, that matter is the padarth. Okay, whatever we see around us, it's matter, that is padarth according to him, and that padarth is divided into tiny pieces. That is that tiniest piece, that indivisible piece, which can the tiniest, which cannot be divided, that piece is Parmanu. Further, Pakuda Katyama, He said that these particles, okay, these tiny particles, they combine together and they form different matters. Okay, according to Pakuda Katyama. Then obviously we have to think in your house also, children, when one your mother suggests something that you have to, I'm going to add chili powder in this. So your father will say no, add chili in this. You will say no, mama, add this into it. So everybody's thinking is different. So according to Maharishi, it was something different. So Pakuda also said that these particles, okay, these tiny indivisible particles, they combine together to form different matter, okay, various forms of matter. And those matter, okay, let's see something different he has thought. So obviously, what was the conclusion? That what if matter is made up of tiny particles. Then came, children, hi-fi scientists, all the hi-fi ones now, foreigners. So Democritus and Leucippus. Okay, next came Democritus and Leucippus. They suggested that if we go on dividing matter, okay, again they all suggested the same thing, children, but in some hi-fi words. Okay, they suggested the same things which was given by Maharishi Kannada. Same thing, children. That there a stage will come when particles obtained cannot be further divided. Same thing they said, nothing different. Democritus named those particles as atoms. If Democritus would not discover these atom, because he did the naming ceremony, okay, naming ceremony that named the tiny particles as atoms. But according, already it was discovered in India. Yes, already Maharishi Kannada said that already those particles are Parmanu. But if imagine if Democritus would have not discovered atoms, the chapter's name would have been Parmanu and something molecules. Yes, so it was good, no problem. It would have been a Sanskrit name. But we follow the Democritus. Democritus named these particles as atoms. What is the meaning of atoms? Atoms means indivisible. When you cannot divide anything, okay, when you cannot divide further, so that is at that is the atoms. Okay, the meaning of atoms is indivisible. So this was the about the some of the scientist children, some people about the discoveries and other things. So first thing, which was the person? First thing, children, Maharishi Kannad. Then we have the Pakuda Katyama, and then we have the Democritus and Leucippus. If you observe, Democritus and Leucippus, they stated the same thing, but who was the person to do the naming ceremony or to give the name for that Parmanu? He was the Democritus, and Democritus stated or named it as atoms. Okay, let's see, children, further. In this chapter, children, further we have something about the law of law of, we have few laws, children. Okay, everybody knows about the laws. What actually are laws? Laws should be accepted. Okay, that these are laws are stated by different scientists. So these are the two laws, and the first law is law of conservation of mass, which you also have in your physics. You also have in your physics law of conservation of mass. Children, I'm just going to tell you something. Okay, I'll just tell you something, children. I've lost that picture every day. Wait a minute, huh? Okay, somewhere it has gone. Yeah. Okay. So, children, many of the students, they get confused between mass and weight. Okay. So, mass and weight. What is the main difference, children? Like, for example, if because before studying law of conservation of mass, you should know what actually is mass and what actually is weight. Okay. Let's take example. For example, in the class also, I told you that if somebody's roll number is 1. Okay, for example, let's take Arpita. Arpita is, I hope so you're listening. Arpita's roll number is 1. So if Arpita's roll number is 1, is that her weight is also 1 kg? No. If Prithvish roll number is 33, is that his weight is Can't say 33, exact 33. No, not need not. So if somebody's roll number is 22, is that his or her weight is 22 kgs? No. It is totally different, children. Yes or no? So mass, keep in mind, children, let's see. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. So what we have in our body, okay, what we have in our body, let's just take example of a chair. Okay, a chair has nails, then cotton, then some wooden bars, then metal. So what that chair has in it, that is the mass of that chair. Okay, that is the mass of that chair. That materials brings like particular thing. What is there in that chair is the mass of that object. Okay, mass is the amount of matter in that object. So how many nails are there? How many cotton bowls are there? How many wooden planks are there? So that is the mass of that chair. What is the weight? Okay, there is a difference. Okay, so if I'm standing on the, everyone muted, mute, mute, I'll do that. Wait. Okay, okay. So whatever, next thing, what is weight, children? If I'm like we all are standing on the like if you observe, like earth holds everything onto the place due to the gravity. Okay, like of Newton's law, if you observe, Newton had discovered the term or the like he observed everything, like whatever, if you are going to throw up, it comes down. Yes, whatever it goes up, it comes down. That is the gravity, children. Yes, that is due to the gravity. That because of the gravity only we can easily stand on the ground, we can sit on the place where we are sitting. It's that because when we go on the other planets where there is no gravity, because our weight will be negligible there. Whatever contents we have, it will be negligible, and we will be flying, children, from one place to, you have seen astronauts and other in the in their in the Discovery Channel, you have seen astronauts, children, they will be moving from one place to the another because there is no gravity there on planet Earth. Because of the gravity, we can stand perfectly on the ground. So weight is the force exerted on the object by gravity. So means like for example, I'm standing, and uh, I can stand, my complete weight is the like if I have some weight, and that weight is due to the gravity, and mass is something which is there inside me. Okay, understood? Did you get it, children? If the bottle is like for example, coconut oil bottle. Okay, if I'm keeping coconut oil bottle on the table, so what is the weight? Weight means obviously it is due because of the gravity, it has got some weight. What is mass? What it come because of what it contained, it has the mass. What is the mass? Actually, mass is due to the contents in it, that is coconut oil. Coconut, it has coconut oil in it, so that is the mass. It has got mass, content, what it contains. So let's see, children, this was about the differentiation. So next time. Okay, fine. Really? I don't think so. No, I was just back. Don't worry. Okay, I've changed the picture. So, children, this was about the laws. Let's see the first law of conservation. We are going to see the law of conservation of mass. Now, I'm saying do not get confused between mass and your weight. Mass is the content. How a person gets its mass. So, what is present? What the stuff is present in the body? That is the mass. And weight, the person has person or the object gets the weight, the it's due to the gravity. Okay, let's see the children, what actually is the law of conservation of mass. So anybody's mass, okay, anybody, what the law states, that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. So what this law state was stated by Anton Lavoisier. He was a French scientist, and he gave this law which states that mass can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. So whatever content is there in any object, we cannot kill it, we cannot destroy it, or we cannot create it, children. We cannot create anybody's mass, or we cannot destroy anybody's mass. Okay, let's see, let's take example. Like for example, I'm just going to take elements, few elements. What was the now hydrogen? If you observe hydrogen, the atomic number. Now just try to compare it with your roll numbers. Like for example, I said that if my roll number is 1, my weight, my mass will not be 1 kg. Same way, children, all the elements, they have their roll numbers, that is their atomic number, and they also have their atomic mass number. But keep in mind, their atomic number will be totally different. It's going to be totally different to their atomic mass number. Okay, mass number is what that atom has inside it. So let's see, hydrogen ka atomic number is 1. Also, the mass number is 1. That's a coincidence. Okay. And next one, carbon. What is the atomic number of carbon? Everyone, what is the atomic number of carbon, children? Nobody? First 10 elements, remember, try to recall. Hi, hello. What is the atomic number of carbon? Hi, hello. Listen. BBC News. Forgot, children? What is the atomic mass of carbon? What is the atomic number of carbon? 6. Very good, children. 6. So, children, atomic number of carbon, that is the roll number of carbon, because places are given to the elements in the periodic table, like in the classroom, places are given to you in your examination according to your roll numbers. Same way, uh, the atomic number, they all the elements also, they have their atomic numbers. And keep in mind, the atomic masses are mass number is totally different. So carbon's atomic number is 6, but atomic mass is 12. Nitrogen ka atomic number is 7, but atomic mass is 14. So this way, children, every element, if you observe the atomic number, it has the different atomic number and different mass number. So children, let's see, I'll just show you one example. Okay, I'll just show you one example. Now listen. Okay, law of conservation of mass. I think so. You have you can state it properly, children. What is the statement? Mass can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. So let's see, children. I'm just going to show you something. I hope so. You can see it. Okay, children. I'm going to write something. Okay, you're going to observe it. So first thing, children, I'm going to take carbon plus oxygen, and carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide. In this reaction, children, okay, in this reaction, C and O2, okay, C and O2, these two, they are the reactants, okay, they are the reactants. I think so. I have explained you in the class, but no worries. Again, this year also and next year also, we have the same thing. And this complete thing is a chemical reaction. So C and O2 towards the left hand side, those are the reactants. And this complete O2, CO2, this is the complete CO2, this is the product. Okay, keep in mind. And this complete reaction is separated by this arrow mark, and this arrow mark means yields. What is the meaning of this arrow mark? This arrow mark states that it is yields. Yields, Y-I-E-L-D. Yields means gives, something it is giving. So C plus O2 gives CO2. So this is the reaction. So children, keep in mind, this was a simple reaction and you should know which are the reactants and which are the products. Now if I'm writing this reaction, tell me I'm writing one reaction. Tell me which is the reactant 1. Very good. Reactant, which are the products? H2O is the Yes, H2O is the product. Okay, children, when your mother prepares tea, okay, but I think even though no problem, I'll just explain you because I don't want any. Now, for example, I'm just going to take one cup of water. Okay, I'm going to take 1 cup of water. Okay, and plus 2 teaspoon of sugar and sugar. I've taken 2 teaspoon of sugar plus 1 teaspoon of tea powder. Okay, 1 teaspoon of tea powder. So again, I'm telling you so that I'll write it neatly. 1 cup of water plus 2 teaspoon of sugar plus 1 teaspoon of tea powder. Okay, I've taken 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoon of sugar plus 1 teaspoon of tea powder. I'm going to heat it. Okay, I'm going to put it into the container. I'm just going to put into a like a pot or whatever container, and I'm going to boil it nicely. And I'm going to get 1 cup of tea. Obviously, I'm going to get 1 cup of tea, children. So keep in mind, children, what law of conservation of mass says? Law of conservation of mass says that mass can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. This is the reason that if I take 1 cup of tea, 1 cup or 2 teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of tea powder, if I'm going to mix it together, after the whatever product I'm going to get, obviously the product, whatever reactants I have used, whatever mass of the reactants are used, okay, mass of the reactants which are used, it's going to be equal to the mass of the products. Keep in mind, whatever reactants I have used, whatever, like 1 cup of tea, 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of tea powder, whatever I have mixed and whatever together their mass is, the mass is going to be equal to the mass of that 1 cup of tea. Okay, keep in mind, again I'm repeating, children, 1 cup of what I've taken in the reactant side, I've taken 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of tea powder. I have mixed it together. I've got 1 cup of tea. So this is the proof, or the we can say that this simple activity, it's not an activity, children, but by this only you can easily identify that yes, that really law of, like law of mass of conservation is stated here, that mass of the reactants are always equal to the mass of the products. It's never going to happen that I'm going to take 1 cup of water and I'm going to get 10 cups of tea. I'm going to get एक कप भी नहीं होगा, like yeah, it's never going to happen. But this is the thing going to happen, children, that whatever ingredients you're going to take to cook food, same mass of products you're going to get in the product side. So this was related to the law of conservation of mass. So what law of conservation of mass says? That mass can neither be created, neither be created nor it can be destroyed. Okay, so this was the statement of Lavoisier's this law. Okay, I think it's stucking in between, children. So, children, let's go to the. I hope so. I'm just assuming that you have understood this. I'm just assuming, because hope so you have understood that what is the meaning of this law, that this law states that mass can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. What is the meaning actually, that the reactants, how many are used, the mass is going to be totally equal to the products. Okay, whatever it's used in the reactant, same thing will be in the products. Okay, let's see, children. So first thing, children, we have completed our one law. So let's see our second law. Law of constant proportion. Law of constant proportion. Let's see the second law. What actually is the second law? What is the statement of the second law? The second law states that before studying the second law, you should look at the picture and look at the person who stated this law. He is Joseph Proust. Joseph Proust, he's a French person. He's a French, and he states this law. The law given by him states that in a chemical compound, okay, in a chemical compound, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. So I don't think so. You have understood this. Let's see. In a chemical compound, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. Okay, so I'll just show you. You will understand it very easily. Don't worry. Look at this, children. Okay, now एक ऑक्सीजन का एक मॉलिक्यूल, हाइड्रोजन के दो मॉलिक्यूल, ओके सॉरी, ऑक्सीजन का वन एटम and hydrogen के two atoms, they combine together to form water. Yes, so is there that in this happens only in India? Never. That only in India at हाइड्रोजन के दो एटम्स आएंगे, ऑक्सीजन का एक एटम आएगा और वाटर मॉलिक्यूल बनेगा. This only happens in India? No, never. If you go to China also, H2O is water. If you go to America also, H2O is water. If you go to France also, H2O is water. So keep in mind that it is a universal one, that in a compound, okay, in a compound, the elements are added, okay, the elements they combine in definite proportion. वो proportion definite होता है, that proportion is constant. H2O is constant everywhere. Okay, मतलब if anybody want, like whenever water, like water molecule is studied anywhere, it is studied as two atoms of hydrogen, sorry, and one atom of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So this is universally everywhere, children. This is universally accepted. If you take other one, let's take other one, ammonia. I hope so you know this. So ammonia, so NH3, so universally accepted. कहीं पे भी जाओ, ammonia is going to be NH3 only. So one nitrogen atom combined to three hydrogen atom. Anywhere, children, wherever you go in, anywhere, like it's not that only in India I'm teaching you this. In all over the world, wherever chemistry is learned, everywhere it is learned that NH3 is ammonia and H2O is water, Cl2 is chlorine. Everywhere it is universally accepted because of the law given by the Proust, that when a compound is made, whatever, when a compound, in a compound you are going to find elements are added or elements combined together in definite proportion. Okay, let's do some mathematical work now. So look at this, so that, because this is going to help you out once. Look at this: hydrogen, the atomic mass is 1, carbon 12, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16. Look at this, children. I'll just go back and I'm just going to show you um, something so that you will get the correct idea. Okay, so children, in this now, if I want to study water molecule, okay, so water molecule, I'm going to take one hydrogen, I'm going to take other hydrogen atom, I'm going to combine, and I'm going to combine with one oxygen atom. Okay, ये तीनों एक साथ आएंगे and they are going to form a water molecule. They are going to form water molecule. So now, children, let's find out what is the ratio. Okay, let's find out hydrogen or oxygen ka ratio kya hai, means how the what with what ratio they are combining with each other. So here, what is the mass of hydrogen? As we know, hydrogen ka mass hai 1. What is the mass of hydrogen? It is 1 mu. What you are going to call this as? Mu. I have written this u. It is mu. You are going to say it as mu. Okay? You are going to say mu, but you are going to write u. It is a unit. Like for example, how we write 1 centimeter, then 1 liter, then 1 kg. Same way we have what is the hydrogen ka mass? Because it cannot be measured in kgs. We cannot say hydrogen is 1 kg. So it is 1 mu. You're going to write it as mu. Okay, this is a symbol of mu. And what is the atomic mass of oxygen? It, as we have seen, atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 mu and oxygen is 16 mu. So children, in H2O, okay, now if I'm saying H2O, if I'm writing H2O, hydrogen के कितने atoms है? Okay, hydrogen, if you observe, hydrogen के कितने atoms है? H2O, if I'm writing H2O, how many atoms are there? H2O. So hydrogen के कितने atoms है? 2. What is the mass of hydrogen? एक एटम का ओके, सो हाइड्रोजन के एटम्स 1 2 है and oxygen how many we have? Oxygen we have 1. So as we know, ये हाइड्रोजन का एटम का मास 1 म्यू है. This hydrogen atom 1 म्यू. This oxygen 16 म्यू. Okay, so they all are combining together. What is their ratio? Okay, hydrogen. So one hydrogen, other hydrogen, it is combining with oxygen. So let's see, 2 hydrogen, that is 2 mu is to, okay, 16 mu. This will be the ratio. रेशियो क्या होगा? दो हाइड्रोजन एटम एंड वन ऑक्सीजन एटम. सो दो हाइड्रोजन H2 का पूरा कैसे? बिकॉज टू, ओके, 1 2 1 is 2. So 2 mu is to 16 mu. So what is the ratio of hydrogen is to oxygen? तो दोनों का रेशियो क्या होगा? 2 mu is to 16 mu. What is the ratio of hydrogen is to oxygen? 2 is to 16. So 2 1 is 2, 2 8 are 16. So what is the ratio? 1 mu is to 16. 1 is to 8. So on this planet, children, wherever water is present, gutter water, sea water, ocean water, river water, rain water, anywhere where water is present, you are going to keep in mind that in if you take the sample and if you're going to observe, children, mute it. Somebody is talking, just mute it. I'm getting disturbed. So wherever you're going to find water, children, collect any sample. As I said, gutter water, any local water, tap water, pond water, aquaguard ka pani, any water if you collect, you are going to find that hydrogen is to oxygen. That means what is the ratio? कोई भी पानी में, कोई भी water में, the ratio is going to, the hydrogen is to oxygen will be 1 is to 8. Okay, if you observe anywhere, children, it is going to be 1 is to 8. So this law is stated here, that is law of constant proportion. What does it say? It says that what the when the elements are present in a compound, okay, they are present in a constant proportion or the definite proportion. The meaning of constant is definite, children, don't worry. So what it states, in a chemical compound, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. Okay, I hope so you have understood this. I'm just assuming, children. So let's take example. I'll read it so that once again it will be clear. In water, water always contains two elements, that is atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. When they combine together in the ratio of 2 is to 16. Why 2? Because 2 hydrogen ka mass 1 hai, but 2 atoms are present. So 2 1 is 2. So 2 mu is to oxygen का mass क्या है? 16. So 2 is to 16. So you just cancel it. Mathematics, 2 1 is 2, 2 8 are 16. So what is the mass? What is the ratio? 1 is to 8. Okay, so this is the law of constant proportion or definite proportion, which was stated by Joseph Proust. I hope so you have understood. Till now we have studied the Three we have studied the two laws and about three scientist children. So the first scientist which we have studied was Maharishi Kannad. Maharishi, according to Maharishi Kannad, whatever we see around us, that is matter, which I used to describe earlier, but he said that that is padharth, and that padharth can be divided, if you divide into fine pieces, those fine pieces, and there will be a state where that fine piece cannot be divided, it is indivisible one, and that is Parmanu. Parmanu, it was a movie, children. It was a good movie, Parmanu. So further, children came up Democritus, Pakuda Katyama. We shouldn't forget Indian scientists. So Pakuda Katyama, they say, like if you observe his statement, or he said that the particles which exist, okay, these particles, they combine together, whatever tiny particles are there, they combine together to form different forms of matter, like different form matter, whatever thing we see around us, they are made up of tiny particles. That was a statement. Then came out hi-fi scientists, all the hi-fi ones, they copied, or we can also say that they followed the same statements given by our Indian scientists, but all the hi-fi words terms were used. Democritus and Leucippus, they named, actually Democritus named the tiny particles, the tiny indivisible particles, as atoms. Okay, so let's see, children. Further, we have seen the two laws. The first law states that it's a matter, mass can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. So in a particular reaction, always the reactants are equal to the products because of the law of conservation of mass. Next law we have studied, law of constant proportion. Law of constant proportion says that in any of the chemical reaction, children, any of the chemical reaction, you are going to find that whichever elements are present, they are present in a definite proportion by mass. Always the proportion is same. Okay, so it's not that never water is going to be H4, like H4O or HO, never it's going to be H10O. Water is, if water is H2O, means it's going to be H2 only. It combines in a definite proportion to form a water molecule. Never you're going to find Baba China mein it's H10O, or it is Japan it is H20O. Never. Everywhere water molecule, what hydrogen combines with oxygen in definite proportion. So this was the about the laws, children. Now, children, okay, now we, also I have told you that every element has a atomic number, as we have studied earlier. I think everybody knows the elements from 1 to 20. So the 1 to 20, those are the roll numbers, children. Okay, just assume that they are the roll numbers of the element, that is the atomic number. But mute mute but children, the atomic number is totally different to the atomic mass number, and the unit of atomic mass number is mu. Okay, that is atomic mass unit. So children, like for example, when you go to buy any of the go to the grocery shop, is that your mother gives you particular like it's a particular quantities, we have particular quantities, like for example 1 kg of rice, 2 kg of sugar, 1 liter of milk, we have particular quantities, children. That quantities are measured in the by the are represented by some units, centimeters, liters, kgs, grams, milligrams. So same way, children, how to measure the mass of an atom. So the unit of the atom is mu. Okay, it is represented as mu, and it is written, it's a simple u, children. It is a simple u, and what actually it is atomic mass unit. Okay, like how we say kgs, liters and all, same way it is atomic mass unit. So these are the atomic masses of few elements which you are going to learn it, children. You should know this. Okay, other elements, at least I'm not telling to learn of all the 118 elements, but at least few familiar ones, at least, or few elements which are commonly used, at least of those you should know the masses. Okay, let's see, children. This we have seen. Also, we have seen the reactants and the about the reaction. Look at the reaction properly, children. The elements which are written towards the left hand, as I have told you, the elements which are written towards the left hand side, those are the reactants. Right hand side, those are the products. And children, to look at the numbers. I think I've told you earlier, but even though the numbers which are written besides the elements, okay, side of the element, those are the coefficient. Okay, so those are the coefficient, and which is written just below the element, that is the subscript. Okay, that is the subscript. So while balancing the equation, when you want to balance the equation, you are going to just adjust the coefficient. You will not touch the subscript. I'll just show you what is the subscript. Look at this. I have zoomed the picture. So besides Mg, that number 2 is written. Magnesium, that number 2 is written. That number is the coefficient. And the numbers which are written down, okay, numbers which are written down, that is the subscript. Okay, that is the subscript. So when you balance the equation, children, you should remember that you are going to just change the coefficient. You will never touch the subscript. Subscript are going to be as it is. They never it should be touched. So this was about the chemical reactions. So children, next one is very, very important one, that is about Sir John Dalton. I'll just tell you something about him. Okay, he's Sir John Dalton. Okay, and you are it's this chapter is like we have different. We will come to know about different scientists, children, Indian and even foreigners also. Okay, so this scientist, okay, John Dalton, is a very different one because he discovered. Okay, he discovered something. He worked for the color blind people. Okay, color blind people. I hope so. You know about the color blind person. A color blind person cannot see red, green. He cannot see. Like for example, is that in your room there are many colors, children. Colorful things are present. Your bed sheet might be it is of red in color. Your walls are painted some light blue, purple color, pink color, yellow color. You can see the colors, children. Okay, but there are some people, there is defect in the eye, and due to the defect in eye, some people cannot 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 see those colors, children. Like I'm not telling about the blind children. Blind are different. Okay, blind people, they totally, they have lost of vision. Okay, there's no vision only. But the thing is about the color blind people are different. The color blindness is totally different. Color blindness is like some people, they cannot cannot see some colors, because we have variety of colors. We can see variety of colors, but some people, they cannot see especially red, green, blue color. Okay, so they cannot see such colors. So this person has worked for them. Okay, he got that, he did some research on the colored blindness. Okay, what actually is color blindness? So next thing, children, let's study something about him. John Dalton is a British chemist and scientist. He gave the atomic theory in 1808. Okay, this theory is popularly known as John. His name is John. So Dalton's atomic theory, and in the honor of John Dalton, he gave the theory on basis of the law of chemical combination. He followed the same laws, huh? Whatever laws we have studied now, law of conservation of mass and the law of definite proportion. He studied the same law. He gave the theory of basis of the law of chemical combination and explains them properly. He has explained in detail, children. In his theory, he explains about atom. Okay, in that laws, only simple, like only simple masses, about masses was described, and also already about the atom was already discovered. He came forward to explain about the I think he explained about the atom. Okay, last 1 minute, children, I'll leave you. Don't worry. We will just see this, and I'm going to leave you. Don't worry. I think it's time up. So what about these are the theories of John Dalton. Okay, so he explained that whatever elements are present, okay, elements are present, those elements are made up of small particles, and those particles are called atoms. He copied the same thing. Okay, he gave this postulates, children. He gave these theories, and some things were copied, children, already, or some things were all, he studied some laws, and he already say some postulates were already studied earlier. So elements are made of extremely small particles of atom. It's not new thing. We were knowing this. Next thing, atoms of a given element are identical in size, mass, and other properties. Obviously, yes. Let's see how. Look at this. हाइड्रोजन एटम एंड हाइड्रोजन एटम, अभी एक हाइड्रोजन एटम लिया, दूसरा हाइड्रोजन एटम लिया, ऑब्वियसली साइज भी सेम होगा, शेप भी सेम होगा, प्रॉपर्टीज भी सेम होगा. So same thing he is saying. What he is saying? Look at this theory. What he's saying, that atoms of given element are identical in size, mass, and other properties. ये तो same ही होगा. Oxygen, if you take one atom, other atom, it's going to be same. Atoms of different elements differ in size, mass, and other properties. Obviously, it's going to be different. Look at this. Look at this water molecule, hydrogen. Hydrogen, obviously, it's same, but oxygen, it's totally different. So, according to him, it is valid, it's correct that atoms of different elements, एक दूसरे दूसरे elements के तो obviously they differ in size, the size will be different, mass will be different, properties will be different. Yes, this is the third property which he gave. Next one, atoms cannot be subdivided. Atoms एक तो indivisible part है, okay, indivisible जो divide नहीं कर सकते. So further, atoms cannot be divided. He said atoms cannot be subdivided, which was, yeah, obviously it cannot be divided, created or destroyed, or we cannot create any atom or we cannot destroy any atom. Atoms of different element combine in simple whole numbers ratio to form chemical compounds. Simple whole number ratio. Okay, now here if I'm going to take H एक एटम लिया हाइड्रोजन का, दूसरा एटम लिया हाइड्रोजन का, एंड देन ऑक्सीजन का एक एटम लिया, व्हेन यू कंबाइन इट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट अ वाटर मॉलिक्यूल. Never it's going to happen that half atom of hydrogen, never half atoms are taken, because obviously atom को divide नहीं कर सकते. So obviously what he said, that atoms are taken in whole number ratio. Whole number means पूरा ratio. Yes, half atom कभी, we cannot use any half atom. So half hydrogen atom cannot be used. Okay, so as he said, according to the fifth postulate, atoms of different elements combine in simple whole numbers ratio to form chemical compounds. Last one, children. This I'm going to state and I'm going to leave you. In chemical reactions, atoms are combined, separated, or rearranged. We have seen. Look at this. Atoms are combining. Atoms are rearranging. Yeah, you are going to find the rearrangement. Atoms, they combine to form, they are going to combine, they are going to rearrange themselves, they are going to get separated, and you are going to find a new compound. Okay, I hope so you have understood this. And children, if you have any doubts, just let me know, and I'm going to leave you, children. Just you may leave, children, no problem. Okay, thank you, children. Thank you, children. Thank you, children. I hope so you have understood. And if you have not understood anything, children, message me. And children, let's continue. I'm just going to post this video also. Don't worry. And see that this is a part one. And before I start part two, you should see that you revise part one properly. I'm going to send you some notes so that at least you will get some idea. And I'm going to leave now, children. Thank you so much.
The law of conservation of mass. Shown here is a small experiment that will help us understand the law of conservation of mass. Take some barium chloride solution in a conical flask. A test tube containing sodium sulfate solution is inserted into the conical flask, as shown, and the weight of the complete apparatus is calculated using a spring balance. The conical flask is tilted so that the two solutions are mixed up. A white precipitate of barium sulfate will be formed, showing that the reaction has occurred. Now weigh the complete apparatus all over again. There will be no change in the weight before and after the reaction. The same reaction is repeated using the solution for silver nitrate in a conical flask and sodium chloride in a test tube. Again, a white precipitate of sodium chloride is formed after mixing these volumes. In this case, there is also no change in the weight before and after the reaction. From these experiments, we infer that during a chemical change, matter is neither created nor destroyed. However, it does undergo physical and chemical changes. This is known as the law of conservation of mass, and can be illustrated from the following examples. In all these cases, the sum of the weights of the reactants is equal to the weight of the product.